It's still going! It's still going! Oraxia is a phenomenal Warframe that, when released in June 2025, has kind of fallen into a Warframe we rarely see in missions. Between one of my favourite gun buffing abilities in Warframe, a fun summon that only got buffed in Shadographer, and energy sustain lets you keep said gun buffing with ease, it's only right I take some time to show off how I personally have chosen to mod my most played Warframe in 2025. This here is the main build. We're speccing heavily into health, strength, and duration. Efficiency is a bit of a dump stat because of the beauty of Mercy's Kiss. Now, Mercy's Kiss deals a crap ton of damage and is an insta-kill if below 50%. They get marked with a little symbol above them, and you just leap forward, damage them, and between that and Equilibrium, you will have more than enough energy. The energy pool with Prime Flow, although not maxed, is only about 536. So one of these pounces can take you from the threshold of 40% energy all the way back up to max with ease. Your 2 is Subsumed Over. Normally, I believe I have it on... I don't use it. It is normally Webbed Embrace. I'm not a fan of the CC that gives, so I currently use Elemental Ward. Now, the beauty of Elemental Ward is an interaction it can do, and I will get into that when we start talking about the rest of the build. All you need to know is we are currently using the Cold variant. Using, I believe, white. I'm using, in my emissive colours, I'm gaining a crap ton of armour, which plays heavily into our health, and we gain that damage multiplier of 9.91 times. Those two factors are what we want. Widow's Brood, probably one of my favourite summoner abilities in the game. This, honestly, might be one of the key things to her nuking potential, I've found. It's a good damage, it's a good damage over time, and it lasts a good while. Silken Stride, this is why we want the strength. 4.3 times max health with 132 base extra damage, doubling to 264 if we're wall latched. It's a deceptive wall latch, it won't count for challenges, I believe, but it is also very good in movement. Because with that, you also then have the passive, the wall latching turns you invisible for 8 seconds. We're running Summoner's Wrath in our aura slot, so our scuttlers deal even more damage, and our pet will be dealing more damage, and that is very important for another thing we'll be talking about later down the line. We have Proton Pulse, to give ourselves some damage reduction on Wall Latch. Umbral Intensify gives us 55% ability strength. You may be asking, well, why don't we just use Precision? Where is it? Precision Intensify. Yes, that will net us more health for Silken Stride, and honestly, that's kinda nice. But I also kinda like having Mercy's Kiss, Elemental Ward, and Widow's Brood buffed. So this is just a nice... You take a minor hit for a better version. Blind Rage for that 99 ability strength. Again, we can dump stat efficiency because of R1. Archon Continuity, specifically. You can use Prime Continuity if you don't have it, but this just gives you some extra corrosive. Considering that your abilities that inflict a toxin counts for your Silken Stride, which gives you toxin on all your weapon damage, and it also bursts with toxin, it's just a lot of armor stripping for free. Gives you some nice just utility, honestly. It's one of the best uses for Archon Continuity. Equilibrium, to make R1 worth having. Because, honestly, your 1 is going to be your only real option, unless you want to run Energize to keep up with your 4's drain. But, even in my testing, it's very rare I'll end up low on energy. And when I'm low on energy, Mercy's Kiss just tops it immediately. Augur Secrets, more ability strength, and we're running it because of that. Energy spent on abilities is converted to shields, along with Augur Message, just to give it that buff, because we're going to be utilising a little bit of shield gating, not a lot. It's not going to be a problem in the grand scheme. But you are going to be utilising some shield gating and your armor value overall to basically stay alive. There is some techs with Silken Stride I'm going to teach after I talk about the build that will basically make you immortal. It's one of the best things. Prime Flow for the energy max. You can max it out if you can. I haven't gotten around to it yet. Mostly because if I do that, it conflicts with too many builds. I need to go back through a lot of Warframes and form a bunch of them. Augur Message for that ability duration. Again, the more duration you have, the longer Silken Stride can last. An Umbral Vitality to play in with Umbral Intensify, where they can buff each other to give ourselves a bit more health. We'll be running that with Arcane Blessing to give us more max health, and Arcane Bellicose. We're not going to get the max value of Bellicose until much later on, and even then we won't really max it out. But this is mainly here for our Widow's Brood, Elemental Ward, and Mercy's Kiss to give them more damage. Because the more damage you can get with Elemental Ward and Widow's Brood, the more nuking potential you have. It doesn't do much for the Silken Stride max health, that's why we have Arcane Blessing. I have done tests. This is a test build I was running, where I was trying to get Persistence to work. And this does work, if you want to use this build instead. But overall, it's not going to feel as nice in the grand scheme as what I've done with A. It's a pretty expensive build, I will warn, but it is worth the investment. So, if you're just here for Oraxia, thank you for watching. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. But if you want to see how the rest of it plays, and why we run Elemental Ward, there's more to the video. Now, inarguably, the best weapon is just objectively the Sobek. I don't think anyone will argue this, because it is the same thing as Sarin. Acid shells. Acid shells, acid shells, acid shells. This alone makes the Sobek a must-have, in my opinion. Here we're running a Kuva Sobek. It does have a Riven Disposer too, and we are just running a multi-shot Riven. You can just run any other multi-shot mod, really. Vigilante Armaments instead, if you don't have a Riven. I believe Rivens are quite cheap for it. It's just an extra bit of cold damage as well for me. But multi-shot is king right now for this. Clip Delegation. It's just, again, just a nice one to have. Gal Hell, Toxic Barrage, Prime Point Blank, Savvy, Contagious Spread. Looking at a pretty decent viral build because we've got Corrosive and Toxin. But because we can get Toxin with the gun, we run Primary Blight. which gives us a lot of extra multi-shot and a lot of extra critical damage. It's basically free with Oraxia. So, with running that, you've got a whole metric ton of damage, whole metric multi-shot, whole metric ton of multi-shot. We're not really speccing for the crit damage stats, we're going solely into status. As you can see from previous clips shown in the video, it works very well. Again, only 5 to take us to here. You can add an Exilus if you really need to, but none of these really do much of anything for you. If you find yourself running out of ammo for some reason, ammo mutation over the top, ammo maximum, none of these really feel like they're worth running, so I've left the slot. I'm using the Grimoire as a secondary. Again, this is just for projectile speed and some damage. Critical damage is just a bonus, but we're mainly running it for the tome mods. I run Fast Canticle to give ourselves some shield recharge rate and some shield recharge delay bonus. It just helps out with the secondaries. Secondary Fortifier gives us a little bit of overguard to enjoy. I believe that takes us to 15,000 at max. And again, it's just another little gate that you can throw out and forget. You're only ever really using this looping for the alternate fire. Just for the tome mods. The rest of this, honestly, you can ignore it if you don't have any of this. If you don't have these, if you don't have this. None of this is important except for these two. These two are guaranteed necessities. Zata Invocation just gives you some energy regen. Occasionally, if you're just going full mindless with the build, there are times where you will miss out on having enough energy to commit Mercy's Kiss. So, having the Grimoire with Zata lets you just get back enough for a Mercy's Kiss. Now, the Venato Prime is specific a choice because of Elemental Ward. Elemental Ward Cold. I learnt this from, I believe, a Kiai video, and all credit goes to him for this one. Turns out the Cold can apply the effects of your melee. Like, when you have a melee, if I go to upgrade, it has a unique trait. So, the benefit, I believe, originally this tech really came out with Oraxia, with the Spinnerex. And the Spinnerex one is pretty good. On death, enemies have a 10% chance to burst. Now, that is already good. The build I have for it is not... It's forever going to be a work in progress. I don't really use whips that much. But the 10% chance to burst of Toxin was pretty good. However, you can use the Venato Prime and its unique trait for Tau. Now, Tau gives you some bonus status stuff, all really good. This is the build for the Venato Prime I use. Rocking the new Sentient Incision, it's so nice. I love this a lot. Overall, very nice little build I've been running. I believe I got it from someone, I'm not too certain. Don't quote me on it. But it's just the one I've been using. It's really nice. And this is where I get to give a second bit of credit. This here is my dog Megatron. It's just a basic hound. And right now we use two things. There's a reason we use this specific hound. Or three things, really. 2 bonds and diversified denial. Fabricate 3 spectres that fight for 30 seconds. Each deals 85% of the hound's damage. Can't use abilities. That's fine. So now we turn a 1 hound into 4. Now we have Duplex Bond. Companion will clone itself each time you expend 100 energy up to 3 clones. So now that's 6 extra clones. We now have 7 extra companions on top of our 10 scuttlers. And then we have... Oh, I'm not actually running it. Silly me. Oh yeah, I remember why I'm not running it now. I still need to former this. So you can watch me be a silly goose and former this now. And now we can go to our bond mods, and we are looking for Contagious Bond. So hell, even the stuff in the clips is not working at max efficiency. We can run Contagious Bond to spread those stacks around even harder. So now we have even more nuke potential. We have the Lassetin, running just a very simplistic build. Nothing spectacular, nothing special. Just a bunch of viral heat procs. For our Archon shards, we run 5 different types of Archon shards, so these two are not the same. Here we run Toxin Status Effects deal 45% more damage. Between Silken Stride, Widow's Brood, and Mercy's Kiss all dealing toxin damage, it's a shoe-in. Our other one just gives us some extra corrosive stacks, so max armor stripping. Because why the hell not? We run a duration shard, just to get our duration up even higher. All of these are Tau Forged. You don't have to run Tau Forged, it will just run a lesser variant of itself. We have a strength one, to get ourselves up to the 330 mark. And we run a little bit of armor, because her armor stat is not really good at base. So this, paired with Elemental Ward's bonus, just gives us a lot more armor. And now for that tech I promised. Now, when you take damage in Warframe... I'm in Silken Stride. Oh no, we're taking damage. But I want to heal. What you can do is just uncast and recast, and now you have more damage. You can just recast it, and look, I'm all the way back. Now you see with these guys... Yeah, as you can see there, I'm not really paying too much attention to stuff like health. But yeah, if I pop my Elemental Ward here, wait for these guys to start shooting me some, you can see they're starting to get some Tau status effects, and they just take so much more damage for it. You just move about a bunch. And honestly, the build just feels nice. This is why we run Elemental Ward instead of the 2, because otherwise the 2 will slow down a lot. It's very good for a defense build. I am looking at making a defense Oraxia at some point, subsuming over her 3 for Folly's new ability. But with this buff, allowing Widow's Brood to scale, and the idea of the Hound with its diversified denial, that idea came from Jade Rabbit Emperor, a brilliant Warframe creator who I highly recommend you go watch after this. But yeah, that concludes the Oraxia build. Here's the drip. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Everything's always greatly appreciated. Doodles.